if you can.
Stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. You are my favorite song. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. Seasons change, but you're the same. Your love is constant. You've never lost it. Your voice is calling out my name. It makes me miss you, even when I'm with you. Oh, nobody wants to go it alone, and I just wanna stay here with you.
A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I am your host today on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and the Speed Lane is where we talk about things that affect us as a people, as a community, our morals, and everything we do in our everyday lives. Now, today we're talking about something almost everyone has noticed or experience. So that's how people sometimes behave differently after getting married. You might have seen it with your friends, your family, or even yourself. Things were easy before and suddenly become complicated. Expectations shift, priorities change. So the question today is simple. We are going to be talking about life after marriage. Why do people change after marriage? What happens? Did they become too relaxed, or is it that they were just waiting to actually achieve that marriage and just change into something else? Some people say it's a natural. Life takes on new responsibilities and that shapes behavior. Others says it's surprising and sometimes hard to understand, especially if the change feels negative. So why do people change after marriage? Do they become too relaxed? Do they get tired of themselves? Or is it that people just trap someone, with marriage, and as soon as they get into it, they decide to, show their true colors like someone else? Some people may call it. Think about it. Marriage isn't just about a ceremony or a party. It's partnership, a new lifestyle, a new home, and sometimes even a financial team. And something that seemed so beautiful and everyone was getting along with each other, all of a sudden it becomes all negative. So why do people change after marriage? Some people say it's this syndrome of, well, I have arrived, now I can show my true self. Or is it in the marriage that they actually change? Now you too can call in to be part of this conversation, because it's just you and I. And number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? What happens? What changes? Or what makes them to, maybe start disliking each other, or all of a sudden someone who you knew that maybe this woman was quiet or this man was a quiet person, and he wasn't that outgoing, he didn't have so many friends, and all of a sudden that person is no longer that quiet person you knew. That's why you hear people talk about, this is not the woman I fell in love with, this is not the man I actually fell in love with. So what happens to people? If you've had this experience, or someone who did, and or anything at all, you can share with us from your perspective how you see it. Why do people actually change after marriage? What happens? Is it a syndrome of, well, I am here already, I finally got the ring, or I am finally in the marriage and now I can actually do what I want? Or is it that maybe the challenges that marriages come with just makes people to get tired and they start taking it out on themselves? Why do you think that people change after marriage? Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? Call in and let us know your perspective of viewing this. And I'm sure it's not something that's rare. It's something that we have seen, or at least we've heard someone complain that, I don't know why this person suddenly started behaving like this. My husband, since we got married, he used to be like this, he used to be like that, and all of a sudden since we got married, he has changed, and he no longer does the things that he used to do. Or my wife, how it is, we hear the stories, and even if we don't hear them, we see them around us, or it has probably happened to you as well. So call in and let's hear from ourselves why you think people actually change after marriage. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? What happens? What makes them to change, or what makes them to now become turn negative, and everything will start going south? Hello Okay, we cannot hear you. Maybe try to reposition and then call us back again. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. Hello. Okay, so why do people change after marriage? If you have just joined us, this is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and this morning on the show we are talking about a life after marriage. You meet someone and you guys are all good together, you love yourselves, and everything is going perfectly. You have envisioned this person as the one for you, the right partner for you, the one that when you see someone that that you actually want to spend the rest of your life with, you just somehow pick it from then, and you've already seen how everything will be. And then all of a sudden, later into the marriage, you're noticing that this person has changed. What changed? Is it a partner that actually changes it? Some people would say, if someone was good and then became bad, it's simply because their partner was, doing something that made them to change. And other people would say, well, it's because when some people get married, especially if that's what they have been waiting for all their lives, or that's something they have been seeking for, the moment they are able to achieve that, then they become relaxed. Like, well, I don't have to try again. I don't have to impress anyone. I don't have to do anything again. Because, well, I have already arrived and I'm here. Why do I need to stress myself and try to put anything together? Well, he's not going anywhere anyway. But the truth is, sometimes it gets too much to the extent that people actually leave themselves, leave the marriages, because they feel like that person that they are dealing with right now is not the same person that they actually fell in love with, or the same person that they wanted to marry. We hear those statements, we hear things like that when people say, well, this is not the person I fell in love with, this is not who I wanted to marry, or this is not the person I married. You know how it goes. So why do you think people change after marriage? Do you have an experience? Have you seen it happen to someone else? Have you seen it anywhere at all, even with your friends or even with yourself? Call in and let us know your opinion on our topic of discussion this morning. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? Think about it. Marriage isn't just a ceremony or party like I mentioned. It's like a partnership, a new lifestyle, a home, and sometimes even a financial team. Hello? Hello? Okay, that did not hold as well, but maybe reposition and then call us back again because we'd really want to hear from you. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? What changes? Is it that their partner suddenly becomes annoying, or do they get tired, or is it a certain behavior from the other person that just makes the other person to change, or is it that I have arrived syndrome? What actually happens? Hello? Okay, we cannot hear you as well. Maybe just reposition and then call us back again. Fight your network and tell us what it is you think about, people changing after marriage. What actually happens? Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Yuji Ahu.
Okay, Yoje, could you speak up louder?
My name is Yuji Ahu.
All right, welcome to the show, Yoje. So why do you think people change after marriage?
Most of the times, either behaviors or characters have been hidden from the two parties. So after getting married, the characters have been exposed to.
Okay, so that means you feel like some people pretend.
Yes.
Okay. And then when they get in their marriage, they reveal choose their true selves.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Thank you so much, Yuji, for calling in to be part of the show. Now, this is one thing that some people talk about as well, and he has mentioned it. He says sometimes some people hide their true character or true things about themselves, their true personality. And when they get into the marriage, that I have arrived syndrome I keep mentioning, when they feel like they have already gotten into it, then they start misbehaving. Hello?
Hi.
Yes, good morning.
My name is Nathan.
Okay. Nathan, where are you calling from?
Not Malcolm.
Okay, welcome to the show, Nathan. So why do you think people change after marriage?
Well, from my own little opinion, relationships tend to be more adventurous. Marriage is sort of like a boring institution.
A boring? Could you speak up louder?
Yeah, okay. Like when you're in a relationship, you're not that close to each other. Proximity, so you don't know everything about the person, and you, on the other hand, try your best to impress the person to the best of your ability, so that it could result into a more profitable affair, which is marriage.
Okay.
Now, when you get married, you tend to see the totality of the person's character, and some of these characteristics are very annoying. Like, for example, I know a lady who pays another person to do her laundry.
Okay.
But when she goes to her boyfriend's house, she does the laundry. So that kind of a situation, now when that person gets into the institution of marriage, how would the person handle such a situation?
Okay.
You understand? Because now we get to understand that this my wife don't really like washing.
Okay.
And these are some of the things that we men look up to. So,
all right. Thank you so much for calling in to be part of the show, Nathan. We just heard from Nathan from North Bank, and he is saying, those relationships before marriages are more adventurous, and in that stage you don't really know each other as much because you're not staying with each other and all of that. Everyone is just trying to impress the other person. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Which person?
Please move away from where your radio set is. Hello. Okay, make sure you move away from where your radio set is before you actually call in, or we'll find it difficult to hear or understand what you are talking about. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and this morning on the show we are talking about life after marriage. Why do people change after marriage? What is that thing that happens that people keep complaining, this is not the person I married anymore, this is not it, or this is not the person I fell in love with? What happens? What leads to that change? Some people would say it's the fault of their partner, maybe their partner changes first and then they also change. Some would say, we've heard right here on the show, and some people say others would pretend with some of their characters and attitudes and behavior and all of that. And when they get into the marriage, that I have arrived syndrome just kicks in, and then they start doing things that they wouldn't usually do. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Udo Cosmos. If I'm calling from Oshesi, my local government.
Okay, welcome to the show, Udo Cosmos. So why do you think people change after marriage?
For me, my little opinion is most people change after getting married is because of accepting other advice in the marriage.
Okay.
Because some of your friends, sometimes when you get married, they will be like, this man don't sit on you. You're not supposed to marry this kind of a short girl. You're not supposed to marry this kind of a poor guy like this. And no educated guy, even have enough of money to take care of you for a long time. You just fall inside a gutter. You fall inside all those places. So when the marriage started listening to other advice outside the marriage started having a lot of problems.
Okay.
So for me, I think these are the things that causes a lot of problems in the marriage like this. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in to be part of the show, Mr. Odo Cosmos. Now, he is saying it's because of all those advice that people would take from outside of the marriage, when everyone has the right to say something and say, well, you cheated yourself, you should not have gotten married to this person, the person does not fit you, and you're too good for him or her, and all of this advice that comes from outside. So it's some of those things that actually influence someone in a marriage to actually start changing, and before their attitude, they just decide one day that, so I am even over this person's I'm even over this person's level. He's not worth what I am, and they start bringing out those attitudes little by little. So what about you? What do you think? Why do people actually change after marriage? What happens? It was all, lovely and all fun and all exciting, and all of a sudden there is this change that happens with most people, and you start hearing things like, this is not the person I married. So what changed? Is it that they become too relaxed, or is it that people be pretending, before they actually enter that marriage, and other people just try to impress at first, and then when they get into it, they just relaxed? Or is it this issue of taking advice from outside that someone mentioned right now? And we talk about things like this because if you actually say people should go to where they will actually seek help, and talk about some things, they feel like, I don't want anyone into my business, or I don't want to have to go and meet anyone that will give me all these ideas, like any a marriage counselor or anything like that. I wouldn't want to go there. So let's have these honest conversations and let's hear from you guys what you actually think. Why do people change after marriage? Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I am a regular Kora, Agwe teacher.
Oh, okay.
CSU.
Welcome to the show, Agwe teacher. So what do you think?
There are so many factors.
The
first one, standard.
Okay.
You know, when you are trying to marry, you present, you give your best.
Okay.
When it becomes marriage proper, you withdraw from certain things. That is one.
Okay.
Some friends will influence the marriage development.
Okay.
They say this woman doesn't understand, this man doesn't understand. If for the first time you're supposed not to marry this kind of person. Not having money, no motor, nothing, no house. So when you are listening to such, the marriage will have problems. Apart from that, in your bed, you see, if you are doing like that, they say you are prostitute. You just, I don't know how, I like ways to.
Go on. However you explain it, we can figure it out.
No radio. You don't say everything.
Yes,
out.
Yes.
So that one also is a factor. You marry there, you relax. You don't feel as if you were just trying to come in. Do that there. Your husband will love you, or your wife will love you. Particularly human, when you marry, you just pretending. Gentle, and that. That's
Okay.
not a lot of problem in the marriage, though. But when you go out, you see a beautiful girl. You do as much as you could, but your wife no.
Okay.
It's one of the factors. And some women, they are home. That's where they came from. Also have influence.
Okay.
Then when you consider all those factors, that marriage have a problem. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in, Agbe teacher, to be part of the show. We heard him and he is saying there are so many factors. Even that issue of pretending, and you're no longer trying to impress, because at first it's more like you're trying to impress this person into marrying you. Some people would say you're trying to trick that person into marrying. And when they do that, you now relax, and the things that you used to put effort to, are no longer there, and you just be like, I have arrived and there is no going. He's already in, she's already in, and there is no need to actually try anything. And he also says sometimes it also has to do with influence, from family, what your family is telling you to do. Maybe you're not holding this man with strong hands, or you're not holding this woman with strong hands. She's still misbehaving. She has too much freedom. He has too much freedom. How does he go out and come out by this time? You know how it is. There are a lot of things, but well, it's not the same for everyone, right? So what do you think? This is a Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And this morning on the show, we are talking about life after marriage. So why do people change after marriage? What eats up, that beautiful thing that people have together, and all of a sudden it's no longer there, or you start hearing things like he has changed, she has changed, and we are fighting with each other. You see people that were once inseparable, they are fighting to the extent that they're even threatening each other and even trying to leave themselves. So why do people actually change after marriage? What happens? You also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? What happens? What stopped, or what's that? And what are those things that you feel like someone should actually pay attention to, and I just have it somewhere in their mind that it doesn't work this way, or I have to keep up with this, I have to keep doing this, or just something that you think is always missing when people actually go ahead and then change after marriage. Now, for some, actually the change is actually positive. Some people become more responsible, so we're not going to say the change is always negative, but most of the time it's always negative. It's actually negative most of the time, but for the positive side, you see some people become more caring, more responsible, and you know how it is. So I guess in that area, it's more like that sense of responsibility actually kicks in, and they feel like, well, I am now a married man, I am now a married woman, and I should behave like this. But what happens most is that negative change. So what happens? What makes that to actually happen? Why do people actually change negatively after marriage? Now, some people say maybe even new responsibilities. They no longer have time to be doing some of the things that they did before, and because they have new responsibilities, new things to look at, and or maybe priorities shift, especially when children come in and they have to now focus their attention on the children. And sometimes you get to the point where you actually start neglecting the other person, your partner. And some people would say your personality even emerges. It's not because they stopped doing what they were doing. Maybe your personality just emerges, and then you stop tolerating the other person. Hello? Okay, we cannot hear you. Maybe reposition, call back and share your opinion with us. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? What happens, and what actually leads to that change? That we see, and people start saying, well, this is not the person I married, and this is not how I wanted it to be. And hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Agatha. I'm from Makodi.
Okay, welcome to the show, Agatha. So let's hear what you think.
Like the reason why people change after marriage. Some women, when they are not married yet, you see them, they'll be dressing so good, looking so neat. But after when they have given birth, you see they will just say, oh, now I'm a mother, and some men doesn't. They want, even though as you have given birth, dress up neatly, and you have to be looking so good so that even their friends can see, this woman is looking hot. So some women do just drop themselves down and say, no, let me just drop myself down because I'm a mother, and it's not good. Because if you are dirty, your husband will not like it. So some marriages, that is why they do have hiccups.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Agatha, for calling in to be part of the show. We heard from Agatha, and she is speaking from a woman's perspective, and you don't have to agree, but if you agree, you can still call in and share that with us. She says sometimes even goes down to physical appearance, and all those shakara and all of that people used to do, and they are no longer doing it anymore. Especially she's speaking from the point of women, and I guess that's like putting something out there for women like her. And she is saying some people used to dress nicely, used to do a lot of things, but later on, we see all this online too, where people start saying you married and started a time rapper, or you started doing this and that. Now I think when it comes to that, it has to do with knowing the person that you're with. Does that person like that? Does that person actually see it as something? So Agatha is saying that sometimes, especially for the woman, it had to do with the appearance, the things that they used to do before, the way that they used to dress before, dressing nicely, and then when it all changes, maybe your partner is no longer finding you attractive. So what do you think? Why do people change after marriage? Hello? Okay, we cannot hear you. Maybe reposition and then call us back again. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? What happens? What changes? What is that thing that fuels that thing where our partners start to, slowly stop tolerating each other, start hating each other? And you know how it is. What actually happens? What fuels that? That is what we are trying to, hear from you this morning. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, tell us your name and where you're calling from. Your name is so?
Ma'am.
Okay, and you're calling from Akodi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so why do you think people change after marriage?
Sometimes, maybe let me say trial marriage. Because you know that the person's character. For instance, the man do flight around and you know that, or the woman do flight around. You just say, okay, let me marry this man. That maybe when we get married, the man will change or the woman will change.
Okay.
And then along the line, the person couldn't change. One of the partners provoked. And that can make someone to also change in marriage.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling in, Esther, to be part of the show. Now, that is also a very interesting way to look at it. And she is saying sometimes it's not maybe something actually went wrong. It's because you already knew that someone had a different character. Or maybe you knew that, let's use an example. You knew that maybe the man was an alcoholic, and you were saying, no, don't worry. When I marry him, he will actually change. And then, you're faced with disappointments when he doesn't change, and that triggers your own change. And, you fall out of the love.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Morning to you.
My name is Yoyu on the farm, calling from Bakila.
Welcome to the show. Okay, so why do you think people change after marriage? Oh, okay. Maybe reposition and then call us back again. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
It's Mr. David calling from behind me at restaurant.
Welcome to the show, Mr. David. Why do you think people change after marriage?
To get for a peaceful marriage also. Because in some cases, people get married and then you have to adapt to the husband or the wife's conditions. So as for the marriage to be peaceful, understand?
So could you explain more, Mr. David?
Like in the condition of my neighbor right now, like she used to be she was a Christian, but when she got married to a Muslim, for the marriage to be peaceful, she had to convert to a Muslim.
Okay.
So as they will not have problem in their marriage.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. David, for calling in to be part of the show. Now, I think what he is saying here is the differences that exist, between partners and having to, change to maybe allow peace to reign. And then when the changes happen like that, because you're changing because of your partner, just to match with them or to do what they want, then you yourself become uncomfortable. And you know how it gets when you feel like you're no longer happy, or you're suppressing things, you're suppressing feelings, or you're suppressing your true self. Then whether you like it or not, that happiness, it might show on your face, but the feeling is no longer there. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I'm with you on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and this morning on the show we are talking about life after marriage. Why do people change after marriage? What happens? What stirs up, that change that just comes and then steals away the joy, and before you know it, you guys, you actually turn into, should we call it, enemies that are living in the same house? What actually happens? If you actually ask people to maybe go seek help and talk about these things, they don't. They actually won't. You find lesser people who go towards that part of trying to seek help, seek advice from people who would actually give it to them. So let's hear from your experiences. Why do you think people change after marriage? From what you see around you or from your own personal experience, let's hear what you think. What do you think triggers it? Why do people change after marriage? Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? And hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Mercy and I'm calling from Akodi.
Welcome to the show, Mercy. So why do you think people change after marriage?
Family.
Okay, and what do you mean by that?
When the family side one person and then the other person feels bad.
When the family side wanted what?
Hello?
Yes, hello, go on.
I said when the family of the other, when one does something bad and then the family side the person. Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. And the other person feels like he is not getting listened to, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mercy, for calling in to share that with us. That was brief, but there was a point in it, and we got the point. This blindsiding, I don't think that one even has to do with only marriage, because personally, if someone does something wrong to me and maybe my family supports the person instead of me, or even their family supporting them instead of me, knowing fully well that I was the one that was wrong, I think I would feel bad too. But one thing is, maybe it will not trigger a change immediately, but subsequently, and if it keeps happening over and over again, surely that could be something that would trigger a change. So what about you? What do you think? This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and this morning on the show we are talking about life after marriage. So why do people change after marriage? What happens? What changes? What pushes that change? Where people who used to love themselves so much just turn to enemies or can no longer tolerate each other. And we are also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And you can also, join in there to watch it live. And we got a comment from Facebook, and it's from Agbe Tezungwe. And he says, marriage comes from God. Before you marry, you have to pray well. So you don't decide to marry because you want to marry for a right wife or husband. And that is from Agbe Tezungwe from Choanye Buruku. And he also says, I pray before you marry, nothing more, and marriage comes from God. Okay, that's good. That is good. And he also mentioned that some people marry because of money. So when the money is no more, the problem begins. Okay, now that is interesting. Someone mentioned something like, some people see some things, in their partners, and then that is what makes them to get married to that partner. And when those things are no longer there, then the marriage can start to fail. So what do you think? What do you actually say about this? He is saying he used money as an example. Sometimes the money is there, and then when the money is no longer there, those changes start to happen. When the money finishes, you start experiencing maybe one attitude from one partner, or even from both partners. One that is feeling frustrated, and in fact, both of them who are feeling frustrated. So yes, that can actually be true as well. What about you? What do you think? Why do people change after marriage? Is it because maybe responsibilities kind of increase and it gets tough for everyone? Because to be honest, marriage is actually a tough thing to have going on, and it's not that easy. Hello. And and it's not that easy. So everyone who is actually, in a marriage, they're actually really strong people. Is it because of their expectations, like partners expect each other to behave a certain way, and that can create tension? Or is it because people become too relaxed after they marry, like, I no longer have to impress, I no longer have to do the things that I used to do because I'm already with her now, I'm already in his house? Or is it that people pretend? We have heard all of that, people were talking about, we have heard from our callers who mentioned different things. So what about you? What do you think? Why do people change after marriage? Hello? Yes, good morning. Your name is
calling back.
Okay, welcome back to the show. So let's hear you.
Okay. Another reason that could lead to disintegration in marriage is the threat that comes from the responsibility that comes with it.
Okay.
You understand? When you are a single person, you can take care of yourself. But when another person adds up to you now, maybe you are in love with each other, you think you are in love, and the thing leads to marriage. Then, when you are now together, you have to take care of two people and not one person. So you have to go extra mile in trying to provide for the house.
Okay.
So that pressure that comes with it now makes you antagony, brings in antagony. Like maybe when you come from a very busy day, you are no longer interested in your partner, how you used to be.
Oh, okay. We lost that, but if you feel like you have something else to add, you can still call back and then share with us. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? Now, when there is a problem, I always say that you identify the problem, and whilst someone else might actually not tell you, advise everyone to go do something about this, apply something about their marriage. I believe that the problems, everyone is mentioning what it is on their side or what they have observed, even though they cannot actually say this is what you have to do. It's important that we know some of the things, because as people mention some of these factors or some of these contributing, things that lead to when people just change after marriage, you're thinking about yourself. You're thinking like, this also happened to me. So if you get a point from what someone says, then you'll be like, okay, this is at this point I have to seek help, or I have to try this, I have to do that, and all. Because if you're actually looking for someone maybe to hear something that a stranger is going to say, go and do this, no one is actually going to tell you go and do this with your marriage, but you're going to get an idea of things to look out for. When you're dealing with your own self, you're going to get an idea for things. You might hear what someone else might say, and you'll be like, well, this thing that this person is saying is true. Maybe this issue I had, or I saw my neighbors had, it actually started when that neighbor started behaving a certain way. Hello? Yes, good morning. Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Faith from Makodi.
Okay, welcome to the show, Faith. So what do you think people change after marriage?
Some people change because of bearing a child base.
Okay.
Their problem because they don't give birth. Then you see kind of men, they change. See, after all, you'll be chopping my food, chopping my money, but no child for me. Along the line, the person will change.
Okay.
So that is what causes the problem to marriage.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in to be part of the show. She's also mentioning another part that some people would not want to admit, outside that this actually happened, but then it actually happens. We hear of them, we see them happen. So, people would not want to admit that something like this goes or on the ground, or some people actually do admit, though they are bold to actually admit that this is what I'm doing, this is why I've changed, because someone is not bearing children, or we don't have children. So yes, for her that is a specific reason, and that doesn't apply to everyone, because some people do, or most people do have children. So that is like for other people who have not bore children and all of that. So what do you think though? Why do people actually change after marriage? What causes it? What makes that whole excitement and the whole lovely thing that made you guys come together, what makes it to just disappear and it becomes hate or anger every single day? You don't even know why this person is always angry. You don't even know, you're just stepping on eggshells, and you know what happens. Why do people change after marriage? Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Why do people change after marriage? What causes it? What makes people to actually, change from that sweet person that you used to know to someone else that you can barely recognize? Now, we hear some of these things, from people who say this is not the person I married, or when I married him or her, he used to do this, she used to do this, and now she no longer does this. She has changed. But what happened? What made her to change? Why not look back at, what actually made that person to change? Because if you never look back at that, then you never get to find out. And as we wrap up, remember that marriage brings change, but not all change is bad. And some shifts help people grow. Others teach lessons about compatibility and patience. And at the end of the day, the key is awareness, which is why we are talking about it in the first place, because the key is awareness. If we understand why the change actually happens, we can navigate it better. We can have better marriage. You can have people who actually know their partners well, and as partners, friends, or family. Well, you know how it is. And at this point, we have come to the end of the show. We have been talking about life after marriage and asking why do people change after marriage. And let's read this one comment from Facebook again before we go. It's from Geoffrey Tepase, and he says, when marriage is built so much on expectations, falsehood, and selfishness, etc., there is going to be changes after all. Okay, that is also another point that you can take home. And at the end of the day, there is no one answer, because there are different answers, different reasons, different factors which people have been mentioning. And I'm sure on your own part, you also maybe have a different reason or a different factor that you think contributes. But like I said, the key is awareness, knowing that these are some of the reasons that might actually contribute, and knowing what you should do, dealing with your own partner on what you understand about them. And also after the speed lane, coming up next at 10 a.m. after the news is King James 90s Top 10 right here on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. So keep your dial locked in, keep the conversation going in your life today, and don't forget to remember the little changes in yourself and the people around you. Stay right here with us on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM and enjoy music of your life.
This is Asking Radio 98.5 FM.
You get business, you